I wanted to clarify something. We are going to focus on freedom and determinism in this video, but very quickly here, um, I list key terms in this last bullet. In the reading, I believe Lawhead has an additional word in front of some of these, like metaphysical monism, metaphysical materialism, metaphysical idealism. Ontology, I believe, is just a one-word term in the reading, but I just wanted to confirm that these terms might have an extra word in front of them in the reading in section 2.0. And I wanted to confirm that you do need to know what dualism or metaphysical dualism is. And again, that's captured in section 2.0. So that said, let's get to the section on freedom and determinism. I want to tell you right away that you do have a fill-in-the-blank item. The fill-in-the-blank item is going to have about 5 or 6 text boxes, and it's going to have the name. What's going to be missing is the names of the theories. And so right here in this study guide, we're focused on section 2.5. Let me double confirm that by looking at the book. Hold on. Yes, 2.5, overview of freedom and determinism. And this is where Lawhead uses some questions and some scenarios to introduce you in a more in-depth way than he does in section 2.0 to the issue of freedom and determinism. It takes him a bit, but he does get to the first terms, which are circumstantial freedom and metaphysical freedom. So know the definitions for those and the explanations. Know which of the 3 theories that he emphasizes, and know what he says about each of these. So he might say explicitly that a given theory believes in circumstantial freedom or in metaphysical freedom, or believes in circumstantial freedom but not metaphysical freedom. So know about that. Know about the 3 statements highlighted and used by Lawhead to organize your initial understanding of the metaphysical concerns on which he is focused. So he presents these 3 statements a bit after this. Make sure that you really focus a lot on what he says about determinism. In this section, I actually think that he's a little bit, he could lay things out in this chapter a little bit better. So I just want to show you something that will help you. So give me a second. Let me find the cursor to go down. We're going to go, okay, so we're going through here. So this is where he talks about circumstantial freedom and metaphysical freedom, so know about these. And then here are the 3 statements. He covers the statement, we are determined. So remember that for epistemology, he used 3 questions to frame most of what he talked about with respect to different theories. When it comes to chapter 2 in metaphysics, he uses 3 statements to organize his discussion of 3 theories. So here, notice that he's just talking about determinism, right? He doesn't say, as you know, there are two theories, or there is at least one theory that has the word determinism in it. That's hard determinism. There's another theory called compatibilism, which is also referred to as soft determinism. So what I want you to know that is hard determinism and compatibilism, aka soft determinism, both believe in something called, what he should have called, metaphysical determinism here. So he should have said, we are metaphysically determined, and then he should have said the position is known as metaphysical determinism. So that would have been a better thing. So know that there is a more general, fundamental metaphysical theory about reality called metaphysical determinism. And that theory, and what he's just calling determinism here, this is a theory about causality. This is the theory that, everything, all your ideas, thoughts, beliefs, actions, and choices are the necessary result of previous causes. So there are 2 theories that endorse what I'm calling metaphysical determinism, and he calls determinism. So that's a more fundamental theory. So this, in and of itself, is not a theory about free will or moral responsibility. This right here is a theory about everything, ideas, thoughts, actions, feelings, choices, emotions, everything being the necessary result of prior causes. It's a metaphysical theory about causality. And then, based on one's metaphysics, one might either say, yes, this is true, and endorse the position of the hard determinist, therefore we can't be held morally responsible for our actions, or you could endorse this theory of causality and necessity and be a compatibilist or a soft determinist and say, but we're still responsible for at least some of our actions. As you know, you can also reject this theory that it's not the case that every single thing is a necessary result of previous causes and be a libertarian. But what I really want to stress to you right here is that when he says we are determined, he's not talking about hard determinism nor soft determinism. He's talking about a metaphysical theory about causality and necessary outcomes given previous events. So definitely wanted to stress that. So yeah, be very well acquainted with what he has to say within these three statements, or about these three statements. Another thing that I wanted to say is, let's go to here. Okay, so here's the name of one of the theories, of course, that you read about. Here's the name of another theory. What I want to stress right now is that I think it would have been better for Lawhead to just call this soft determinism, because then it makes it easier to remember, compare, and contrast this theory, which is also known as soft determinism, with hard determinism. So you need to know both names for this theory. So know the one-word name for this particular theory, the one that's described in this paragraph here in section 2.5. That's compatibilism. But the other name that I'm giving you is the two-word name that I think he should have used instead. So I'm really stressing that. And it is soft determinism. Okay, and so then of course you need to know about libertarianism. You need to know the name of that theory. This could be very helpful to you, so maybe keep it handy and in front of you, copy it, maybe by hand, but this is a nice, easy way to compare and contrast. I would copy this down, and then for here, I would write what it means to be determined, and I would write we are determined. Then you might even put AKA what Dr. Carrillo calls metaphysical determinism, and then maybe put the definition like, all feelings, thoughts, actions, choices, decisions are the necessary result of previous causes. I would write that here to remember what this says. I'm giving you some big hints because in the test, I'm going to have you compare and contrast these theories. So I'll be using the names for these theories. Keep in mind that when it comes to compatibilism, I might use the name soft determinism. But I might give you a statement like both the hard determinist and the libertarian agree on only one thing. So then you could go to this table and look to see if that's true, right? So you go to determinist, the hard determinist row, the libertarian row, and look to see on how many things they agree. Or I could say something like the hard determinist and the libertarian both think that everything is the necessary result of previous causes. Well, how does this help you? Well, we are determined. If you know the definition for determined, then you understand that the statement that I just gave you is giving you the description or version of the explanation for determinism, aka metaphysical determinism. So if I say both the hard determinist and the libertarian believe that everything is a necessary result of previous causes, and you see here that the hard determinist endorses determinism, but the libertarian does not, he disagrees, then you would know that statement is false. So this can be helpful for some of the true-false items I'm going to give you where you compare and contrast. And what I'm doing is making sure that you understand how these different theories compare and contrast with each other. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go back to the study guide. So the three theories introduce big ideas with respect to aforementioned statements, comparisons, difference among said theories and big ideas. So I went ahead and went over that. It is still very useful to make sure that you follow along with this part of his discussion. What he's doing is giving you the initial stance of the three theories that he focuses on with respect to these three statements right here. Okay, so just remember that this is a theory about causality, a more fundamental theory that undergirds or supports or has to do with supports one of the theories about free will, is acknowledged by two of the theories about free will and is rejected by one theory of free will. But again, this is not a theory of free will right here. This is not what he's discussing here. It's a theory. It's still a theory of metaphysics, yes, as our theories of free will, but it's more about the reality of causality and necessity. This is down here is where you have the theories, but this is where he initially introduces you to the stance of each of the theories that he focuses on with respect to those three statements. And this captures, in a very gist-like manner, how these theories compare and contrast with respect to the three statements. But you still need to read the paragraphs to have a really good understanding of that stuff.